I mean, definitely something that Burrito can deal with. However, we saw them sticking to it even when they were down a bunch, making the proactive plays. I think that's something that Burrito, one, has to stick to, and two, can certainly bring in game number 3.
I do think it's worth mentioning that the last time these two teams fought, even though it was with the original Circa roster, was in week 3, where we did see Circa beat out Hysteria, now known as Burrito.
So it's certainly possible, certainly plausible. You did mention that there was a difference in roster, but I think Circa looks to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I'm really liking this new roster. I was
sure.
worried about the synergy just because they haven't been playing for the same amount of time. We saw the same team for 7 weeks. No changes, and then coming up to lane, you've got 3 new players.
And sometimes that can toss a monkey wrench in the whole idea of things, but on the other side, it can also be very positive. It sort of breathes new life into the squad, and for the players that were there originally, you can see, all right, man, you know what, our old mid laner kind of had a problem with this one, but hey, buddy, you're so cool. Shiny new toys. They're not always better than the old one you got at home, but it's just nice to see new stuff.
And you fall through these trials and error with these teams, but bringing on Faeles and bringing on iRens has definitely helped out the team for the better.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, look at what Faeles has been able to do throughout the series. Just really been driving these plays out of the jungle. It's been a pleasure to watch.
And you mentioned it earlier, yeah, you definitely know they're hitting these guys up, trying to get as much info as possible. We saw him on the Nemesis earlier on, able to just shred through the competition with the use of that ult. It was very ballsy to take these very tanky targets.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it would just... Unfortunately for Burrito, I mean, this game was won in picks and bans. They shot themselves. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot, in the arm, in the chest. They picked tanky targets into a strong Nemesis.
In game 1, this would have continued to go back and forth, back and forth. We'd see Phoenix's fall, and they'd have enough time to respawn just because there was no confidence. There was no real secure way of playing, and now we're definitely seeing that coming out from Circa from this previous game.
Absolutely, and just watching what Faeles was able to do here, it was a pleasure. It was a positive experience watching what Circa was able to do with Faeles in the jungle. They need to focus on that.
Now for Burrito, what can they focus on? Because this is the last game. Whoever wins this goes to Gauntlet.
Burrito needs to figure out what their opposition are building into, and I'm just very upset about their pick ban phase.
I know, right?
They got to fix it. They just got to fix it. The Guan Yu is great. Ensure the Guan Yu, play the sustained composition. Burrito like to re-engage from what I've seen so far, so play that. Either get the Guan, get one of these healers, and make that happen. It's certainly something that they are capable of, and I'd like to see that for game number 3 if they want to win.
Terra, Guan Yu, even that rare raw ban coming through. All of these people have sustained that they can add to the team comp. If one team has it and the other doesn't, that's already a gigantic disadvantage.
For sure. For now, the Fafnir ban coming out from Burrito, that was a big deal for Circa. Just a lot of power coming out. Well, Freya will be the ban out of Circa.
They were chaining their CC very well, especially Mr. Stefan coming through with these portals right into Fafnir. It was just absolutely disgusting. They knew exactly where they were coming down from, so you run with it.
For sure. Now Burrito, taking a long time with their second ban. Usually players know exactly what they want to ban off the top. It's going to be the Vulcan.
Don't want to use it themselves, and also want to keep it away from Tynz. I mean, don't want to use it themselves and then not use it for Circa, but Humbots banned out. We didn't see Humbots in the first or second game, but we did see him earlier on, and Faeles Gorgonzolla did a very good job.
Yeah, I mean, both of these junglers can play a strong Hunbat, so taking that off the table allows Burrito to go ahead and select the Athena.
Athena locked in. We saw it jungle earlier on. It could still be jungle, or it could be a nice support. Loki and Nemesis being hovered over. A little bit of a strange pick, but it would be nice to see some Loki solo.
Sure, but not first pick.
No?
Thank you. Jing going to be swapped around. And, you know, we've seen, recently we have seen Loki solo work out very well in the SCL Wolves for Most Wanted. Plays it very strong. It's a pick that can work. But like I said, when it comes to picks and bans, it's a very delicate, balanced game. And you don't spend a pocket pick in your first selection. So Jing Nemesis, much better. I'm much happier, and I think that's the way to go.
Nemesis picked up Athena. Do you want Burrito to pick the same kind of tanky comp knowing that Nemesis is here again?
No!
Exactly. So they need to learn from this. Ratatoskr going to be hovered over. Originally was an op wash.
Yeah, of course it was.
Trollolol.
Yeah, exactly. The Ra going to be selected here. And Burrito, this is, again, interesting. There's an Odin available. I mean, listen, Burrito, they've proven to be strong players, but that strength doesn't follow them into the picks and bans. The Odin was still on the board. Roz selected. He's just going to get smoked by both Odin and the Nemesis. This is already trouble for Burrito.
They already want to try and combat the sustain that Burrito want to build up with that Ra. Inside that Odin cage, you're not going to have any healing. However, Burrito do have the chance to take away all the healing from Circa. Terra is still on the board, though.
You know, it's interesting. Circa bans out 2 hunters from Burrito that can't get out of the Odin ring.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Shablanque and Rom banned out. Scylla and Isis banned out, focusing a little bit more on that mid lane. Scylla brought a lot of damage, and Isis with that circle of protection is more healing.
I think the Scylla ban is correct.
Yes.
It works out very well. Scylla was a dominant force in game number 2, so banning that out. However, Circa does get the Janus, which is also a very powerful pick.
Janus into Ra. How does that make you feel?
I mean, as far I don't care about the laning phase when I'm looking at those two, honestly. So, depending on the mage, the laning phase can be more or less important. Ra's gonna pretty much just auto clear, and Janus might run into some trouble, but as long as he stands next to a wall, he's totally fine. I'm more concerned about the team fight later on, and we'll see how that one works out. Izanami is going to get locked in for Burrito. We saw Ataraxia play her earlier on as far as the pro seed is concerned this weekend, but didn't really have an impact.
Not quite. Sun Wukong picked up as well, and Xing 10 will finish out the roster for Circa. Xing could be able to go into support or solo, as can Odin, so we're going to see that flip either way, but it doesn't matter because Nemesis is on their team. Nemesis is going to be gunning for Athena, going to be gunning for Sun Wukong.
And also the Ra. I do like this adaptation
Naturally.
coming out from Burrito. I think this is the way to go. They work well with the sustain composition. However, I am concerned about the Odin.
Where does Izanami fit into this? Because we haven't seen her all that often. What's the thought behind the new ADC?
I think Burrito just want to try something. So there is a lot of value in playing something that your opposition isn't versed against. And Izanami's not being played in ranked. She's not being played really on any ladders anywhere. So you do have that element of surprise to a certain extent. But we'll see how it works out in practice versus in theory.
Overall, I like both comps. I like the Burrito were able to adapt and learn from that last game. I think they're going to have an easier time trying to stay toe-to-toe with Circa, but it's going to be up to Circa to try and press their lead like they did last game. I want to see them be more aggressive like we didn't see in game 1.
Exactly, and with the composition swap, this might help them out. Lace on this Izanami. Real quick, she is definitely she's an interesting character. I would classify her more late game than early or mid. She's got a hot steroid, one of the best, and she's got a large burst ability where she throws her ghost out. Of course, the ultimate is a nice little silence and a big burst of damage, and her escape or assassinate, she's got this weird ability where she kind of goes invisible.
It's nice. It just takes a little bit to wind up, so
Yep.
that's why we don't really see her all that often. But the boomerangs, that's the biggest thing that's new with Izanami if you haven't seen her yet. They're going to deal damage going in and deal damage coming out, almost like a Thor hammer.
Right. Now, it's not gonna change her. Like, it seems very complicated when it comes to attack speed. It's not. She's gonna work just like any other hunter. And as far as the damage is concerned, it's not 100% in and out. It winds up being 100% if you hit both shots, both forward and backwards. So that'll be a big test of how strong Lace is gonna be on the character.
Gorgonzolla back on a playmaking god currently, Ratatoskr. It was a lot of damage coming out from Faeles in the first game, who had picked up the rat, able to put himself down wherever, and they picked so heavily on Lace because of it. But now Gorgonzola wants to turn around that aggression and make the plays himself. That's what he's known for in the Challengers Cup.
We'll see if it works out here. Certainly going to keep our eyes on the rat. We saw what happened in game number 1 with Faeles. He's able to get 3 kills in 4 minutes. Is Gorgonzola that quick of a rat?
Doing pretty good, starting out strong. Gonna go ahead and get to lane relatively at the same time. Mid, immediately at the same time, but I like the deep warding. I say it every time from Circa, so they know what Tynz starts off with, they know the rotations, and they can go from there.
No surprises. Absolutely no surprises. Athena's going to be in the left lane this time, playing support. She'll be able to help out her team in that regard.
Circa going to be able to take these right mid-hand harpies, but Burrito going to go ahead and take the fire imps instead. And this is really important because, like I mentioned, you're going to get a nice level 5 lead depending on who can lock down these early game objectives.
For sure. And right now the mid lane, as far as the mid lane pressure, is certainly going to go the way of Burrito. You were asking, you know, Janus versus Ra. It's more about the 3v3 over there in the mid lane, and in that regard, Tynz is certainly going to have the lead.
We didn't see a lot of aggression coming out from Burrito last game, but we did see that 2-minute jungle attempt, that 2-minute gank. Do you think we're going to see something like that with this composition?
It really depends on how the players are feeling, in all honesty. I think it's less about the composition and more about the mindset of the players and where they want to go.
Gorgonzolla has a lot in his kit that would be able to turn this game, or turn this early phase around into their favor. It just depends. If there's not a pick at that point too, you're not going to be able to get anything done.
Exactly. That's what you need to see, though. The aggression, the kills, and the picks. You got to be able to see those happening.
No numbers. Getting a lot of damage, but able to dish it out onto Sibi himself. Just early game. That's so much damage.
Stun.
Nice first blood coming out from no numbers over in the solo lane.
And that's a beautiful shot, watching how they're able to turn that one around. Doesn't look like a good situation for no numbers at all, but the stun, understanding the damage is what no numbers was doing there. He understood that a quick stun into a basic was enough to kill, and he was able to make that happen.
And I was worried too, because that bird bomb does so much damage coming out from Sibi. All he had to do was jump at that point, and that would have gone a completely different way, but it was already spent, and no numbers knew his opponent. DeathPanter knows his opponents too, able to taunt them into the shield wall, get a little bit of damage off, but that still leaves Lace open.
A little bit of a jump in the turnaround damage, but Burrito wound up taking more damage than they came for.
Exactly. And now we're going to see a little bit of rotation coming out from Ra and Ratatoskr. Gorgonzolla looking over to the solo lane once again, locking down Sibi with the stun, but he's going to jump right back into the tower and bring out the cage.
And the ring is important. I'd say that it's good that we saw the ring popped out by Burrito, because they're looking for the turnaround shot.
Tynz with the snipe, able to take out Sibi as he was backing. Beautiful rotation.
Did not even expect that. Flash of light comes out of nowhere. It's going to be number 2 for Burrito.
Surprise. Burrito 2 up right now, 3 minutes and 11 seconds. A little bit of a different story compared to last game where we were, what, like 8 minutes in before we saw a kill?
Absolutely. And I think that just has to do with some of the picks here. The Ra, a little bit more early game. And here's some of the damage coming out. Faeles able to find a strong ultimate on the jungler, but a strong sprint allows Burrito to escape.
Yeah, that sprint was definitely important. Gorgonzolla has a lot of mobility on this god, but every little bit counts. You want to get away as quickly as possible. If he didn't have that sprint, he would have been dead.
Absolutely. Just making sure that not going to be caught out. 2-0 still. And Burrito, they're looking for the next opportunity. Or at least they should be. I mentioned before, don't take your foot off the gas. Ratatoskr is a character that works off of tempo. If you hide in the jungle for too long, people just expect it. They ward up. You got to keep up the pace and allow these ganks to keep coming.
Mid Harpies are going to be coming up soon, and it looked like Circa wanted to take them for themselves, but instead we're going to see Burrito not even have to push them out. They're going to fall. Instead, Circa backing off to take their own objectives and take their own little camps and buffs.
And that's what you got to look for, right? You got to find the strong farm and allow players to do what they want. But Sibi here, very strong game last time around. I'm very curious to see if he's able to do that on the Odin. I mean, obviously we watched him get soloed and then ganked a second time, but I want to see how he works out in the team fights.
It's self-growth currently coming out, but because you're letting go of these small objectives, that's just going to continue bringing up Burrito's lead. It's a little bit over 1,000 already.
And that's exactly what they need to find. A nice first blood gives them 500 gold, and the other 500 really just comes from jungle dominance, not so much the second kill.
Gorgonzolla, though, not in the jungle currently, in the mid lane, showing presence currently where there's 3 other members of Circa, Stefan, Jacob, and Faeles. However, they don't really have the damage right now to try and make the play. We heard the dash, we saw the dash coming out from Gorgonzolla, but we didn't see any CC or follow-up play. They couldn't lock anybody down to try and collapse in on them.
Not enough range right there, looking for the taunt coming out from DeathPanter. That would have really set up the fight.
Yep, but Mr. Stefan, I want to see him set up fights because he's done so... I mean, we've seen such good Janus plays coming out from both mid laners, but I want to see these portals really start to set up these plays, fall through, self-peel for himself, or open it up for other members to come in and try to just collapse.
Yeah, the Janus did have some good setup last time around. However, he does have some additional help here, so we'll see how the Odin fares versus the Ymir from last game.
With these team compositions, though, do you think we're going to start seeing a little bit earlier objectives? People are going to start looking at these gold figures further, like the first game. Rens using the agility, but having to force the purification on himself as well. DeathPanter is going to fall between Faeles and JacobHL.
Good play coming out from Circa, targeting exactly who they need to. Athena not quite yet just tanky. She's got cooldown boots, so certainly not going to be a tanky target just yet.
JacobHL and Faeles taking the safe route because they do have Lace barking at their tower door. The last thing they want to do is overstep and then get Burrito a little bit more.
Yep, they want to avoid the roll-up. So Tynz here in the mid lane, just going to be able to clear out.
Aside from that, though, where's Faeles?
I mean, he made that one play, and he showed up on the left side. But again, on the Nemesis, he's sort of expected to be a little bit quiet. We saw adapting play the Nemesis yesterday and didn't do anything for 15 minutes. But then he was 5 levels above his other jungler because he just farmed for 15 minutes straight. That is a good look. Faeles needs to show up when he's absolutely necessary, which is why I like the kill on the left side for Circa. But in general, I don't want to see Faeles for a while.
And it was good in the last game because it was so passive. We only saw that farm game for the first half. And Faeles didn't have to worry about that because it was just farm. But I'm worried that Faeles might fall behind just because Nemesis isn't going to be able to get around like Gorgonzolla. We're already seeing a little bit of difference coming out of the level with Gorgonzolla on top.
Exactly. It's only a 200 gold differential and more like a half a level, but it's certainly there, and it's something Faeles has to be aware of.
Nice cage coming through. Going to keep DeathPanter away. We saw the ultimate being channeled. He popped the cage, and at that point, no numbers or Athena weren't going to be able to contest, but a nice cudgel just to give him something to remember him by.
Absolutely right there, and watching here.
Nice
there's the taunt. This is trouble for the solo laner. Smackdown comes to Jing Bang. Beautiful jump to avoid the stun.
Just when you think you're safe, they're still going to turn around and try to turn the issue, but Gorgonzolla into the air, going to come down from the Cosmos, trying to get that aggression onto the enemy jungler. You want to shut them down as quickly as possible. The wind up, but no pitch coming out from Jacob.
What a hot agility, or rather gust, coming out from iRens. Able to find that corner, and here no numbers in some trouble. 3 players from Circa going to surge into the mid lane, and the bird able to get no numbers out of trouble.
But DeathPanter does not have that same kind of ability. He has the rest of the team here, though, and the heals should he decide to step back in. And now all 5 members of Burrito are here barking at Circa once again.
And it looks like the Gold Fury is going to be next on the menu, Tiger.
Menu. We're talking about burritos. I like that. But burritos are in a very good position right now to try and take this objective. It's a lot different. It's kind of like the playstyle we saw from the first game versus the second one when Circa just completely dominated. But
yeah. No, I mean they gotta really bottle what they were able to find earlier. They just need to repeat exactly how they won their game. There's no reason to deviate.
And I mean, they're keeping Circa trapped in the tower a good bit. They're pushing them back. Just we're not seeing these picks yet. We have 2 kills on the board for Burrito, 1 for Circa, but we're not seeing any follow-up coming out from that too.
Not just yet. Not just
yet. It's a little early though.
Sure. Fire Giant still hasn't spawned. You got 30 seconds till we even see that. So Circa playing it safe. Burrito off to a little bit of a lead.
And there's no RAS on the board, too, so both teams have that going for them. It's just going to be straight-up Smite using these ultimates. I kind of like the fact that Tynz still has his ultimate if something happens and Circa try to steal it, because raw snipes are nice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the raw snipes is certainly a big part of what's going to be able to secure those objectives. Follow-up. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, but Ratatoskr waiting to crash back on down.
Come on.
No, just stopping the plays. He can't go anywhere. So we're going to see the Dark Portal, and we're going to see Gorgonzolla get aggressive and find the play. And at this point, Lace does not have the beads because he already used them. Going to get pushed right back into Stefan, but still able to juke. The snipe going to be good, and Faeles going to fall.
And I love the play right there. We actually got to see what Izanami does. Absolutely just big damage out of the burst abilities. Very much an ability-based hunter. Despite the build, you can see the Ecoval there. That's to allow her to be able to box against the opposition. iRens certainly going for it, wrapping around the backside. And Gorgonzolla gonna smack him on the backside. Mr. Stefan looking more like a Steve.
But was that worth leashing the Gold Fury?
No.
It was so low.
No.
Like, why did you stop? It doesn't take 5 people to take out 1 person with a quarter of health.
Took the words out of my mouth, my friend. I mean,
And it was a Janus.
Yep.
He's not tanky.
I mean, you got me. You got me. Burrito dropped the Gold Fury right there, but they also drop a player, so that's worth something. Up about 2,000 gold, give or take.
Yeah, but Circa gonna go back and sniff at this Gold Fury once again. Xing is there just clearing out wards and making sure that nobody's nearby just in case they want to try and sneak it. Burrito want this lead, and Circa want that Gold Fury to lessen it, to bring the game back to even.
A Gold Fury and a kill will tie the game for Circa, so that's really what they're looking for. However, on the other side, a Gold Fury going in the other direction will cause Circa to watch the game slip out of their hands.
And we've seen these plays before where 2 members of a team go and take out the Fire Giant and nobody has any idea. So of course we're going to see a little bit more priority just to get eyes on this prize. And Gold Fury are going to be started up once again and then leashed because JacobHL and Faeles are here. They're not comfortable yet.
And that's a smart leash. That's the one where you have to leash it. A little bit of an aggressive play, but nothing to be concerned about.
I mean, at that point, it's just showing your face, making sure, hey, we're still here, so you're not going to be able to sneak this either. We're still going to have to duke it out. You're going to be pigeonholed into fighting us once again.
And that's what they're looking for. Burrito should force all of these fights. Just keep fighting.
And at this point, since we're not seeing these big team fights, force some relics. Force some beads, force some sanctuaries, force anything that you can, even these ultimates coming through. There is an Athena on the map. Put somebody in danger and DeathPanter's going to flip there immediately.
1-1 game point here. Game. Looking here for the victory as either team. And this is for all the marbles.
Yep,
Teams that win this fight into the gauntlet.
And they want to go to gauntlet, and Faeles taking a lot of damage, going to be able to go through the portal. Gorgonzolla not able to lock him down with the DPS just yet. Meanwhile, Renz getting out, does not want to get pinched between 3 members, but is going to with 4 and no numbers. Able to find the hit, and now JacobHL is next on the menu, but with that ultimate, the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel just going to whiff.
I love the follow-up there coming out from no numbers. Tynz has the big power damage, the big ultimate, the Ross Knight, but there is trust in the ability to clean things up. Burrito, they're going to start the Gold Fury. Circa lurking in the wings.
Sibi waiting to jump on over, wants to blink in. There's the cage, but Circa still able to take the Gold Fury from Burrito, but Lace going to blow up Sibi for his efforts. And now all eyes are set to JacobHL because gosh darn it, you took them. You evened up the game. We're going to take your lives for it.
3 players down on the side of Circa. Burrito were able to pick up the objective, and now they're going to march towards a tier tower, tier 1, and that'll give them 500 gold in the pocket. This one's easy peasy. And I wonder where they go next. I would like to see them push on to a tier 2, and it looks like that's what Burrito's going to do. No, they're going to shy away from it.
Was that worth? They aggressed on this Gold Fury
Circa?
and took it, and then lost 3 members and still lost a tower. So where's that? Where is that on the scale?
I mean, you can see them answer back, but the problem is it goes directly in the other direction. Circa I think they made the right play. I think you can never just watch the Gold Fury go down. I think they made the correct play, but the exit strategy wasn't there.
And at that point, if you're not able to take that objective and get out without losing your life, then in my opinion, it's not worth it because you're still going to give them everything that you just earned, but in golden experience from your kills.
Well, so here the result is net 0, right? You get the Gold Fury, but it goes right back up. If the other team get the Gold Fury, you're looking at, at least a little bit of a lead for the other way. So, and at the end of the day, I implore
Cudgel.
these teams. No, not going to be enough. I always need these teams to be a little bit more aggressive. So I like the play style.
Wouldn't be enough to take him out, but it is nice to see that Cudgel just interrupting, being a nuisance like a good solo laner should be, especially Sun Wukong. He's just a nice bruiser, and his kit is so good for interrupting. And like mentioned, being obnoxious, tier 1 tower still getting aggressed upon. Snipe gonna be off the mark, not gonna be able to lock down JacobHL, and the toss of DeathPanter, but he's pretty tanky, not gonna have to worry about too much of anything. The cage is gonna be good, finding 3 in the back line, but Renz coming through with the airstrike, not enough, not gonna hit.
Also, there's nobody on Circa really focusing the players in the ring. There was a perfect opportunity to find those kills. Instead, here comes the rest of Burrito on the backside. Lace picks up 1, big damage, and there's Lace with the double kill.
With the help of No Numbers, who's forced into the somersault cloud. They want to continue their aggression. Lace getting very low, but one more hit and Sibi is gone. That's going to be the triple for Lace, bringing in the Izanami with style.
And there it is. Great stuff out of the Hot Hunter. And there's going to be kill number 4 for Burrito. It's 12-2 as Faeles able to sneak 1 kill out of there. Either way, 1 kill certainly not going to be enough. It's 4-1. Those are not a stat line. Those are the players that are alive. So Burrito able to get this tier 2 tower. They're leaving. Okay.
Fire Giants available. They can go back and spin gold. They can, no, I guess true. But they can go back, spin that gold that they just earned. They burned through towers. They got so many kills. They almost got that deicide onto Circa. And for what? They only lost Gorgonzolla.
Yep.
Who's not going to be too effective because it's not like his rotations are going to bother. They can just hop into the ultimate.
Just excellent plays out of Burrito, making sure to actually get objectives after they find their fights. And they're fighting a lot better right now. It's not just Lace being hot on this Izanami, although that's certainly something that's part of it. They're just fighting more concisely. They look like more of a unit.
This is the team that I'm used to seeing. This is the hysteria, now known as Burrito, that we saw in the Challengers Cup, completely dominating in the first couple of weeks. Like I mentioned, they had a couple of faults, and we saw that in the second game. But now, this is the dominating team that I'm used to. And Sibi gonna get caught in so much CC, a lot of damage. But here goes the cage, and there goes Sibi.
Yeah, wow, just so much damage. And this is where Izanami is really gonna start to make an impact. She's got a lot of burst in those abilities. And when you get a taunt into some of the nonsense that Lace is going to throw out, it's a big deal.
Stefan hits like a truck right now. Tynz almost chunked back to half health. But at this point, Gorgonzolla not worried about it too much. They're going to keep them back in the tier 2 tower. He's going to be able to take their speed camp for free.
Exactly. So we'll see how that one works out in the long run. No Numbers wrapping around the back. There's the hit from the front. Big taunt, but off the money is going to be the Rise. Tossed back onto the backside, and Ren's able to punish the mid lane Tynz with a couple of basics.
DeathPanter taking too much damage from the tower is going to fall. Faeles getting credit for it. No Numbers forced to 72 transformations out. Circa able to sift through this jungle, but not able to lock anybody down yet unless Gorgonzolla doesn't get out.
Yeah, looks like he should be fine, though.
It is like he wanted to turn around and fight. He is very aggressive, and he's such a big playmaker. So I've seen plays where he's done absolutely, what he's doing now, and then the team loses a fight, and then he turns around, takes an objective, or he turns around and completely wipes them all with the help of one other teammate. So it's kind of a catch and release with Gorgon. But Circa are going to aggress on this Gold Fury, and with nobody nearby, is Ratatoskr not jumping on the objective, instead looking for Stefan. Circa is still going to be able to take it. Now Stefan going to fall to Gorgon, but he's going to fall to Renz.
And there's a follow-up. Renz looking strong here. 2 kills in total. Faeles has to get out. He will. Pops the double dash after the shield. And he should generally be fine. No Numbers still here, but I don't think he really has a shot to find a kill.
Nah, at this point, like I mentioned, just being obnoxious, using that cudgel to the best of his ability. Get a little bit of damage, but at this point, because Faeles popped that retribution, you're not going to see anything come out of that. We could have seen the thwap, but we couldn't. Nice play coming out from Faeles.
Exactly. Faeles here. He's got a leg up on his other jungler, I would say. Despite the Rat having more kills than Faeles, I think that Faeles' performance has been more
consistent.
Not meaningful. meaningful.
Okay.
The kills that Faeles winds up with turn into a Circa surge forward or an entire team fight won. And that's what's keeping Circa into this fight with Burrito, I'd say.
Ren's getting taunted. Use that purification once again. That's not even an ultimate that you have to worry about, but because of that, Ren's not going to have that purification for quite some time. JacobHL going to blink forward, but not in enough time to save the tower. And now they're going to turn their aggression. Nice portal, going to keep them out. That's the ultimate coming out from Stefan.
And with the ultimate down, everybody from Burrito has to be happy about that one. We've got to mention it in comms. I hope everybody's aware. Name left side, however, is now abandoned. All players now looking towards the right side. If a fight is won here, they'll look towards the Fire Giant.
Stefan gonna get taunted through Dark Portal, tons of damage, and DeathPanter gonna be able to find the kill. Lace able to just get out with the help of the jump as well. But Gorgonzolla taking a lot of damage. Circa trying to push him out. That rat is causing so much ruckus.
And that's what you got to do. You just got to cause havoc. Got to make everybody turn around 27,000 times.
Yep.
And then when they finally have somebody in their crosshairs, DeathPanter is going to taunt them in a different direction.
Burrito looking for this tier 2 tower. It's the only thing left standing on the entire map for Circa. It's going to fall with ease, and now Circa forced back into the Phoenixes once again. 7,000 gold and 11,000 experience in favor of the Burritos.
And on the other side, however, triple the amount, or 3 times the amount of kills Burrito has above Circa. It's enough to start the Fire Giant here.
But they do have to worry about Sibi, who is barreling down the lane, waiting for the right opportunity. Instead, going to jump away because Circa, they're going to have to back off. This entire fight is all about them. The cage is up. Gorgonzolla going to get channeled and then use the ultimate to crash down. Coming into the Cosmos, able to find 2 on the knockup. No numbers, taking out Faeles. The ultimate barely going to whiff. Coming out from Mr. Stefan. The Contra going to bring some damage. JacobHL is solo, and Lace going to be able to find it.
Big plays for Burrito here. A little bit low is their jungle and solo, so they'll hang back. Tynz wants to make it happen, but his team has already retreated.
There's so much on the line, so you know that has to be a difficult call. You know Circa are aware that this Fire Giant is next up on the menu, and Burritos just want to go ahead and take this down as quickly as possible. Fire Giant already at half, nobody nearby except for Renz. He'd want to make the nice play, but he doesn't have the ultimate. Instead, gonna leash it once again and try and take it out. Fire Giant gonna be good, and Burrito able to secure it with Tyn's help.
And here's the fight after the fact. Trouble for the Hunter. Ren's able to turn it around, however, and take out Gorgonzolla. I for sure thought that was going to be the other direction.
Sibi able to jump away. Lace still stealth, waiting to try and just unleash the damage onto Renz. But Tyn's going to get that last hit. But I like the play, using that stealth to your advantage. He was fine picking that 1v2, but as soon as Lace was there, it was all over.
That's that surprise factor of the Izanami. Players not used to looking out for the invisible Hunter.
Does it make a sound like Loki stealth?
Not like Loki, but it does make a sound, yeah.
Okay, because that sound haunts my dreams. But Circa, taking what they can. They've got their red buff, going through their jungle just to lessen the lead coming out from Burrito, or at least keep it away from them.
For sure, and that's the idea. But right now with 23 minutes in, you're looking up at a 7,000 gold lead if you're Circa. So Burrito now, they've got to just play into the lead. They've got to continue the pace and allow Tynz, despite his build, Tynz is building very defensively or utilitarian. He's got to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
And it's an uphill battle for sure. 18-6 currently. We're seeing the player damage. We're seeing the gold. We've seen all of these numbers. But in the end, all that matters is that end game, whichever Titan falls. We've seen plays come back from these games. We've seen swings of ridiculous amounts. But right now, Burrito are on track to take this game and take the set.
That's why they're here on the left side. The Phoenix furthest away from the Fire Giant. Players from Burrito grouped up here, all of them, 4 of them with the Fire Giant Tiger, now looking for the first initiate.
Tynz looking to clear the creep first, that way everything is just up to Circa, having to deal with their own creep coming through. A nice taunt, nice. Sibi gonna get pulled back into the heal as well. Gorgonzolla ready to come down from the Cosmos. A nice Odin, he is gone. The wind up coming out from Jacob, but Tynz still able to clean up on the back end. Faeles now gonna get pinched, but barely able to get through. No Numbers trying to take him out, but forcing out the Sanctuary, which means that Phoenix is wide open.
And that one's going to be killed right there. 2 players down for the count out of Circa. Make that 3 as Tynz hits him with the beam. Mid Phoenix going to be aggressed on, can be killed. 20 seconds for the next respawn.
There goes that. That's why we see that Raw ban earlier on. They didn't want him to play this. Raw is so good and the heal coming through. They're looking to go ahead and end this now. Gorgonzolla taking out Faeles. The Titan keeps falling. It's about at half health now and nobody is there to defend it. That means, Smite fans, Burrito will be your victor going to the Gauntlet. Congratulations.
Great play out of these guys, like you mentioned before, formerly known as Hysteria. This is the team that devastated the Challenger Cup, very much so. And now here playing under Burrito, certainly a big part of how they were able to survive.
Very good plays coming out from both, and we saw just how much they learned when they were on this stage. It was a progression from both teams.
For sure. Watching both teams really, grow just in these 3 games is a lot of fun, and we'll see how they can combat against the SPL teams.
So, coming from the Challengers Cup, how do you feel looking at when you were a caster, watching these teams, to now? Because it's definitely evolved and they're getting so much better. They're getting so much closer with skill.
I mean, the teams have certainly evolved, but I want to talk about all the fanfare around it. I mean, when we were casting Challenger Cup, it was me and Kret waking up at 3 in the morning and somehow getting Moji to wake up as well.
Nice.
Here, and there, it's online. You're dealing with 7 programs. Your computer's overheating. Here, you're now flying these players out to see them live in LAN. There's just an embrace of the amateur scene that hasn't been there before, and I'm very happy and proud that hi-rez is grabbing the amateurs so hard.
And I'm glad to see them, and I'm also honored to be allowed to come in and cast this too as a Challengers Cup caster. It was very nice to see these guys on the big screen, see them back there, and just look at them. It's been such a ride. It's been amazing. I don't have really words for it.
I mean, this is what it's all about, right? It's about reaching the top level and being able to be a part of all the fanfare that is brought here in the Pro League, and watching these Challenger Cup teams be a part of it. It's just very exciting.
Very strong 3-game set coming out, but that will be Burrito 2-1-ing for the spot in the Gauntlet. So we will be seeing them later on. But congratulations to both teams involved.
Absolutely. Fun stuff. We're going to take a look at some of the replays out of Lace and Gorgonzolla. These guys really just ran the games here very strongly. Lace even bringing out the Izanami in game number 3.
Getting that triple kill early on, too. That was amazing. Lace, we don't really get to see a lot of the Izanami, but Gorgonzolla as well, just being able to dictate the pace of the game, run through the jungle, and do anything he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot of fun. The Izanami actually having an impact this game, a lot of which came through just a burst damage out of the abilities as the game got later and later.
And like you said, there is novelty in having this god pick that nobody's really faced. We don't see a lot of Izanami in ranked play. We don't see a lot of Izanami in the pro scene.
Sure.
So having that pocket strat definitely worked out for them, and Lace able to clean up house with this triple.
And that was one of the big plays that allowed the team to really get a lot of the map dominance. We saw a couple of towers fall down because of that triple kill.
Exactly, and now we see her using that stealth to her advantage, coming around and turning this situation back right on in for their favor.
And that's going to be the big play, I think. That triple kill really was a play of the game for me. It didn't enable the win, it enabled the plays that led to the win, so I loved watching it.
That momentum game for sure. I mean, it really comes down to that. The team were able to just run off of that, and so many possibilities on the map opened because of that triple kill. But Gorgonzolla, like we mentioned, dictating the pace of the game, just going absolutely ham in every aspect, especially in the team fights.
Yeah, I mean, he really allowed a lot of the other players to really step up and get kills. He facilitated more than he wound up being the kill master himself. The chase down was a lot of fun.
There it is, right there. Love the mastery of the Ratatoskr, able to just come in, use the kit to his advantage.
Yeah, just a lot of fun stuff here on the Ratatoskr. You mentioned pace of the game. Well, the Ratatoskr certainly bringing that, especially towards the end, still being able to have an impact in the game with those big knockups.
And it was a great set coming through. Thank you so much for watching. But that's it from the Challengers Cup for me. And after that, we're going to send it on over to Hindu to start our shenanigans for the Group C LAN.
Well, not just yet, because at the moment I've got Burrito's mid laner. Tynz is joining me. Congratulations on the win, first of all. What was the biggest success for you guys today? What was the main aim coming into this? Obviously to win, but what was the big focal points for you?
So, of course, we want to play for Gauntlet. So we prepare a lot about a lot of team comp. But yeah, in the second game, we play Athena jungle. but like we never really play Athena jungle scheme. It was like most likely support in general, but we made a lot of mistake, but like we keep focusing on the game.
Now your own play as well, we saw your Raw come out again, you hit a lot of big snipes in that game too. You've been practicing that a lot recently, or is that something that you've been working on, you know, just for a long time?
I mean, Ra is pretty fun, so I like to play this gun, and like, I mean, like after you can, it's not that easy, but after a lot of games, you can like use your one and your ultimate exactly how you want, and in general, like I'm not using like my ultimate on every like CC. I'm waiting like, for a big ultimate like on few people to like destroy everybody.
So you've managed to make it now through to the gauntlet, and you're going to face off against Dig, Elevate. You've also got in there. Cyclone has now joined. Out of the last teams that are remaining in this group at the moment, because we've got Obey, Cringe Crew, who can still come down there. Who would you rather face out of those two?
I don't know, honestly. That looks pretty good. Yeah,
they all look pretty good. Do you reckon it's going to be an easy time in the gauntlet? Do you have a good opportunity of making it?
I mean, we don't know if we can do it, but we're gonna try at least. And like, we're gonna try to win every game, every kind of game we can. Like, I mean,
play to win, right?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Well, congratulations first of all on your win. I do have a prize though, as you did win.
Yeah.
You do receive a very special prize. I've got it here for you. It's one for each of you, for your whole team. Burritos.
Oh yeah.
There you go. How better way to celebrate with burritos. Dude. They're all paid for, by the way. Don't worry, they're not going to come out in any prize money or anything like that. The goodness of our heart. Hi-rez. Congratulations. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give to the audience at home before we go?
Yeah, of course. So first I want to shout out for like everybody here, the rest staff and things. So yeah, it's the first time to Jacob's team come in like iRes studio to play LAN. So it's pretty fun, honestly. And shout out to your sub. So Jake, he's not here.
Right.
He got some issues. Freelac and Alpha Jackal, your coach.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
What?
Absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And you got more shout-outs? Go on.
And big shout out to Burrito, of course.
Burrito?
Yeah.
Well, you got burritos now, so you win.
Yeah.
Win-win. It's a good day for the Burrito boys. They make it through to the gauntlet. We'll be back after the break with more action as the SPL will now kick off.